Okay, as I said before, I am going to be taking on the strange dimension in this episode, not the spirit board, because if I take any detour, I will get lost in this place, so one big recording session. Anyway, here we have the Prophet, or Loptia, the prophetic one. This is the evil incarnation of Hazey A, the god of chaos, with Loki being the good one. When fused together, they become the final boss of Bayonetta 2. But separate, not too hard to beat, hence the relatively easy battle there. Umbra witches are really strong. Who is more threatening is Dark Matter. Dark Matter is a corruptive alien species appearing in Kirby's Dream Land 2, and in many subsequent Kirby games. This particular incarnation of Dark Matter only appears if you've 100%ed Kirby's Dream Land 2 before taking on King DDD, the final boss. If you haven't, then you'll get the end credits and you'll get a very ominous splash screen where everything goes dark and a big ominous eyeball starts looking down at everybody, hence this battle condition of everything going dark. However, if you have gone through the game completing everything, then you'll get a secret boss fight in which DDD is revealed to have been possessed by Dark Matter, who takes the form of a mysterious swordsman in order to challenge you and hopefully take you down. So, Dark Matters continue throughout the Kirby series. It is revealed that they are in fact a species after that one-off encounter, with their leader being Zero, a giant, horrifying, white Dark Matter with a red and profusely bleeding eyeball. So that's always nice. But more so, the battle theme currently playing is from the rematch against Zero from Kirby and the Crystal Shards. So this whole battle is just a love letter to the Dark Matter species. Except Gooey. They don't talk about Gooey. They're a little ashamed of Gooey. Here is the Master Giant. This is one of the forms taken by the Master Hand in Super Smash Bros. 4, the final boss battle. In fact, it's the first form they actually go into after you defeat them as Master and Crazy Hand. So, yeah, for this particular battle, you have a big dang Donkey Kong who's just getting right up in my business and trying to beat shit out of me. You got bombs raining down to represent how the giant loves using big fuck-off explosive attacks. And yeah, you'll notice I'm also playing as the Master Edges, which is the form that appears after the Master Giant and the Master Beast, but before the Master Fortress, so yeah. Speaking of all these different Master forms, I actually have enough now to fuse them together. And in doing so, I can create the final boss of Super Smash Bros. 4, who sits and does nothing, but if you don't kill him quick enough, will blow up insta-killing you. And that is the Master Core. I mean, assumingly, all of the Master Hands and Crazy Hands that Gleam and Darkon are controlling have Master Cores inside of them, but that one's special. I'm going to assume that one is cut above the rest. Anyway, speaking of prequels to this game, we have the Ancient Minister. The Ancient Minister is a reoccurring villain in Super Smash Bros. The Subspace Emissary campaign. The Minister is almost always there when the Robs start invading and blowing places to fuck with the subspace bombs, which are what those bombers are meant to be representing. At one point, they do take over Meta Knight's halberd, which is why we're battling on the halberd stage, and you have the whole army of Robs. The reason for that, and you know what? Things are starting to unravel in my head now, but the reason for that is that it is revealed in a really, really surprisingly tragic and dramatic cutscene that the Ancient Minister has something of a conscience and is horribly guilty for all the destruction caused, but upon trying to actualize and realize that, is turned on and essentially killed by all of the Robs serving alongside it. And in a big dramatic cutscene, the Minister has its robes blown off, revealing that it is itself a Rob, and that Rob goes on to join you. And even though Rob's a character I couldn't give less of a shit about in concept, in that campaign I had to use him in the final boss battle against Taboo, because it would feel wrong not to, because it's his story. Rob is essentially the main character of the Subspace Emissary, save for Kirby, so yeah. Anyway, this fight is now all the more horrifying because the very Rob who appeared in that campaign must be the one in this one as well. So he's being puppeted by Darkon now to take his former form as a horrible murderer. Smash Brothers lore. There's all kinds of weird shit going on here. Here's Medusa. Here's Medusa from Kid Icarus. The original Kid Icarus. Medusa is the main villain of that game. She is the goddess of darkness. And you battle her in the final boss battle at the Palace in the Sky, which is where this stage is representing. A very, very barren-looking area. I think that's all the spirits from around here. As we got a little meta there, exploring Smash Bros.' own narrative within itself. So let's go back over here with something a little more simple. Over here, we have the Pidgeots. The Pidgeot is a basic enemy from Super Mario Bros. 2, which is revealed to just be a dream within Super Mario Bros.' universe. But yeah, Pidgeots are burbs, they fly on carpets. There's a Peach with a jetpack, the floatiest possible character. Not very good at not dying, though, is the thing. Anyway, moving on downwards. Good lord, this place is so big and confusing and hard to navigate around. But yeah, we can flit over to the tree section where all the Kirby spirits were. And first of all, we have the Waddle Doo. Waddle Doos are like mutated Waddle Dees, insofar as instead of having a cute little face, they have a giant eyeball. And they can shoot giant laser beams out of their big eyeball. So to represent that, we have these Kirbys who have an electric floor, representing the electric properties. And they had super scopes to use their beam attacks. Nice and simple, really. Krako in particular is very, very good at spawning Waddle Doos. That was where Mewtwo was, don't need to be there again. But I do want to battle Bugsy. Bugsy is a mini-boss, appearing in Kirby's Adventure, and then later appearing in many other Kirby games. Bugsy is pretty simple enemies, just a big strong bug. Herculean beetle of sorts who likes to fly towards you and grab you and fling you around. But when you take him out, you get the suplex ability that allows Kirby to suplex enemies, do backbreakers on them, just absolutely wrestle the shit out of them. It owns. Here's another adventure mini-boss, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty gives you the ice ability upon being defeated, which allows you to freeze enemies, turn them into ice blocks, and then boot them into other enemies. So representing that, you have the icy floor and the ice climbers. And we're battling on the Wispywood stage to get across the fact that Mr. Frosty rarely appears in cold climates. He just appears in warm places, but still happens to be wearing a parka. That's just his fashion. That's how we like to do. So, over here, we have the Castlevania characters. First is Nathan Graves. So Nathan Graves is the protagonist of Castlevania Circle of the Moon. And, yeah, we did mention him briefly before when we had the Hugh Baldwin battle. But Nathan is a vampire hunter from the 19th century, so relatively modern by Castlevania standards. Anyways, within Circle of the Moon, there are 2 items you can pick up that boost your jump capabilities, one of them being the Double Relic, and the other being the Rock Wing. So, assumingly, this Nathan Graves has both of those equipped, hence why he has such incredible jumping ability and increased jumping potential. So, yeah. Anyway, this fight would be really hard if not for the fact that I absolutely know how to game the stopwatch, which itself is also a Castlevania item. When you get frozen with the stopwatch, just start dodging. Because if you have iframes, they get slowed down too, so you have more iframes. Anyway, Gabriel Belmont. Gabriel is the protagonist of Castlevania Lord of Shadows, the PS3, Xbox 360 Castlevania game, which takes place in an entirely different, separate universe to the rest of the games. Reason being that Gabriel here is a knight from the 11th century who becomes Dracula in something of a twist. It's a Belmont who becomes Dracula, and in that game he wields the Void Sword, which is why he has a beam sword. And we're currently battling on the Hyrule Temple stage to represent his Holy Order, who he used to be loyal to before becoming fully Dracula. So yeah. Anyway, over here, we have the most adorable incarnation of Dracula, Kid Dracula. Kid Dracula is the protagonist of a spin-off series in the loosest sense of the word. Like a full-on chibi, cartoony Castlevania game with about 1,000 finger quotes around either side, in which you ran around as this cute little Dracula fighting against other cutesy classical horror monsters. It is very much a novelty game, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut out a little bit of running now, because, you know, this place is fucking massive. It took me a while just to get here. Back to the Fire Emblem section, starting with Elise. Elise is the youngest member of the Nor royal family. She is a troubadour class character, that is to say a mounted healer, so she can ride up to you and heal you with speed and efficiency. And in terms of her personality, she's very, very childish and petty, so... Representing her, we have Isabelle, who herself is a very sweet, innocent character, kind of getting across the childish nature. But more pressingly, we have the conditions, which are fucking nightmarish. Constant healing. Nothing but healing items to represent vulneraries and elixirs spawning in. Good lord, I can barely damage her. Look how quickly her health goes up in this fight, just passively. It's 5% every couple of seconds. It's so hard to rack up any damage here. So, yeah, for this particular battle, many, many times she could have just finished me off. She could have thrown me off that edge so many times and just didn't. And I will capitalize on that. Thank you very much, Elise. So that is that fight. Over here, we have Elincia. Elincia is a queen appearing in the Fire Emblem Radiant duology. And in that series, she starts off seeming like this normal girl who just needs help, so Ike and his mercenaries help her out. Eventually they figure out she's royalty, and in time she goes on to give Ike lordship, allowing him to promote and become more powerful. Here is Ike's sister, Mist. Mist is, much like Elise, a younger sister, and also a troubadour, so she can ride around the battlefield and dish out healing, which can prove very useful when her and Ike are essentially fighting together to get revenge against the Black Knights who killed their father. Anyway, for this particular fight, you've got Zelda representing Mist, this sweet, innocent young girl, and of course you have the healing, because of course you have to have the healing for a troubadour class. And the most standout thing of this fight is the fact that her brother is fighting alongside her to kind of put you in the shoes of the Black Knight, really. I didn't kill your family, though. I'm playing as Lyn right now. I'm a swordswoman from another dimension. Please don't bully me. Anyway, the enemy's defense is going up as well to represent how Mist has some crazy good stat growths if you actually invest into her. And she can really start holding her own when she gets to higher levels in that game. Or, well, if you get lucky with her level ups anyway. Fire Emblem level ups are always weird to me because they're almost entirely luck based and can absolutely tank a run if you get unlucky with them. Anyway, that's all the Fire Emblem spirits, so let's hop back on this magical stream, moving over to our next destination, where we have the three mage sisters from Kirby Star Allies. You have Francisca, the blue one, who uses ice powers, Flamberge, the red one, who uses fire powers, and Zan Partisan, the yellow one, who uses electricity. So the three of them are your main antagonists in the game, all working for Highness in order to resurrect the Void Termina. Or at least until Highness fucks them all over, in which case they end up on side. So over here we have the Reporter and the Wrestler from Rhythm Heaven. Their Rhythm Heaven minigame essentially has the Reporter giving an interview to the Wrestler post-match. And during this interview, she can ask him how he did in the fight, to which you have to nod rhythmically to the beat. She can cheer you on, in which case you have to flex your muscles, also to the beat. And occasionally the camera will zoom out, showing a bunch of paparazzi who will yell, "Pose for the fans!" And they will snap a picture, to which you have to do a mighty, mighty pose. So yeah, you're essentially playing as the wrestler reacting in your interview. And so for this fight, you have Pikachu, Libre, as the wrestler. The Fatal Frame girl there was the reporter giving the interview. And yeah, I'm very, very easy to launch to represent how very strong the wrestler is. Pose for the fans, get dead. And that is that. Right next to that, we have the gangster, lady, and policeman. So in the game Hogan's Alley, you have to, with your Nintendo Zapper, go through a bunch of mean streets, taking out the thugs or the criminals, while leaving the good citizens and the wonderful police force completely intact. I pretty much killed the policeman there, but then again, fuck the police, so this is fine. This is okay, I'm alright with this. Here is Lloyd. Lloyd is a party member, appearing in the original Mother. Lloyd is something of an inventor, a child genius who battles using technology, using bottle rockets and guns and missiles and all that sort of junk. Essentially a spiritual predecessor to the character of Jeff. So yeah. This particular Lloyd is not very good at coordination. Thanks, AI. Still looking out for me there. Here is Azura, appearing in the Fire Emblem Fates games. Azura is Corrin's cousin. She basically takes the iconography of the Lady of the Lake from Arthurian legends, hence why we're currently battling on the Fountain of Dreams. And in the game, she is a songstress. In Fire Emblem, songstresses, or any other bardic classes, can essentially allow units to move twice per turn, which in Fire Emblem is fucking disgustingly broken. So, to represent that, we have a Corrin who will not only use Final Smashes on me, but will use 2 consecutively, assumingly because Azura has boosted her to give her another turn, and that's mean as fuck. I somehow didn't get hit by that first one, and if I can avoid getting hit by another one, that would be even better. Holy shit, how? How did neither of those hit me? Either one of those would have insta-killed me. Anyway, she also, within the narrative of Fates, helps to calm Corrin down when they go into their feral dragon form. So, there's another link to Azura there. And here's Corrin. Of course, Corrin's going to be next to Azura. So, yeah, Corrin is the main protagonist of Fire Emblem Fates. In this series, Corrin is a half-dragon, half-human who is torn between their 2 families. Either the Hoshido family, their birth family, or on the human side, obviously not the dragon side, and the Nor family, who essentially raise Corrin, who adopt and raise them. So, the difficulty is that the Nor and Hoshido families are at war, so Corrin has to choose which family they're allied with. And if you go for the definitive final playthrough, Corrin chooses to defect against both of their families and just becomes their own lone person, being considered a traitor by everybody they ever loved. Corrin kind of gets it rough. And as far as Fire Emblem protagonists go, Corrin's kind of a unique and original one. The first time an Avatar character is the main protagonist, and isn't even fully human, so yeah, wow. That said, didn't stop everybody from fucking hating Corrin when they were announced for Smash 4 DLC before their game was even out, so yeah. Can't win them all. Here is the Gold Bone. Gold Bone is the main antagonist of Miiforce, a shmup for the Mii Plaza Street Pass series, and yeah, everything about this fight is pretty much on point. We are riding through space in order to take down the Goldbone Gang, a bunch of space pirates, essentially. And yeah, we're battling against a Mii Brawler, who has a fully gold appearance to get across the general look of Goldbone. Not only that, but my choice of character also works on 2 levels, because A, I'm the Dark Emperor, another final boss from a Street Pass Plaza game, And also I'm being puppeted by Ridley, who is a space pirate as well. So, yeah, nice cohesive fight there. Adam Malkovich. Oh boy, I have thoughts. Adam is a member of the Galactic Federation in the Metroid series. And, yeah, he first appears in Metroid Fusion as an AI, seemingly, and guides you through that game, serving as something of a friend and an ally, which is all well and good. In Other M, Samus just becomes so needlessly and pointlessly subservient to him, and it kind of destroys her character. It just completely undermines her sense of agency. Samus doesn't even use her weapons until he authorizes her. He has no authority over her. I'm gonna move on from this point. Here's Ganondorf from Twilight Princess. Yeah, Ganondorf. We all know Ganondorf. He's the major antagonist of the Zelda series. His Twilight Princess incarnation is pretty basic, all things considered. Not much more different from his Ocarina incarnation. The one big difference is that he's a lot more cruel and calculating cunning with how he operates throughout that game. Often kind of functioning from the shadows and only revealing himself to be your villain until the end of the game, which many people got annoyed at, as it did seem like a little bit of a cop-out to just use Ganondorf as the villain again after building up Zant so much. But yeah, when you actually get down to fighting him, it's all kind of worth it. Because, yeah, not only do you get to fight him as a giant, horrible pig beast, but, yeah, you do get this incredibly fucking baller duel against him at the end of the game. So, shit is really, really satisfying and justifies him being there. On top of that, Twilight Princess does do quite a bit to build the lore of Ganondorf. It establishes that he is essentially immortal. Like, anytime a Link defeats Ganondorf, a healthy mix of the Triforce of Power he wields and the Curse upon Hylia, as dished out by Demise, will bring Ganondorf back. So, you can only slow him down, and that's, you know, existentially horrifying. So, let's banish this fool. That's how we do. Fuck your Triforce of Power, I've got wisdom, bitch! Anyway, here's Aghanim. Aghanim is an evil wizard appearing in the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. And, Aghanim's ultimate goal is to resurrect Ganon. Because of course it is. Everyone wants to fucking resurrect Ganon. If not his Triforce, if not Demise's curse, then some fucking jobber wizard will do it. Speaking of Ganondorf and Aghanim and Demise's curse, here's Girahim. Girahim is the servant of Demise, the demonic force who essentially creates Ganondorf. And yeah, throughout Skyward Sword, you are constantly being pursued by and hassled by Girahim. At the end of the game, he succeeds in bringing his master back and plunging Hyrule into a horrible cycle of infinite death and darkness. Wow, the Legend of Zelda series is really, you know, miserable, isn't it? It's almost giving Metal Gear Solid a run for its money. Or at least those few Spirit Battles did. So, over here, we have something a lot more cute and lighthearted. We have Nago! Nago is a cute kitty cat, and he's one of Kirby's animal friends, first appearing in Kirby's Dream Land 3. Nago's whole thing is that Kirby is ball-shaped, and Nago will roll him around like a little ball. Like, in the same way that a cat will mess around with a ball of yarn, he just paps Kirby around. Oh, it's so cute. Everything about Nago is cute. This whole stage is focused on spawning balls in the same way that Nago likes rolling Kirby around like a ball. Fucking adorable. Barely got my words out there. I got so flustered with how cute that cat is. Over here, we have Starlo. Starlo is a star sprite, first appearing in Bowser's Inside Story, and serving as that game's Navi kind of character, helping out both the Mario Bros, who've been swallowed by Bowser, and also Bowser himself. So, yeah, just kind of a helper all around, and for this particular battle, we have it so that enemies get big, and yeah, that's to represent how in Bowser's Inside Story, Mario and Luigi are shrunk down and end up inside Bowser's body. So yeah, anyway, Luigi is down, and next up we have a tiny, tiny little baby Mario. Goodbye, Mario. You dead too. That battle really was just a whole bunch of size-changing shenanigans, which is a perfect descriptor of that game. Anyway, over here we have the Maruhige shop owner, whose name is actually Maruo Maruhige, a direct reference to the Mario who is playing him. Maruhige is the shop owner in Trade and Battle Card Hero, one of those, you know, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! Knockoff games for the Game Boy. So, as such, we're going to be battling with a lot of assist trophies because we're summoning in our cards. We're summoning in our dual monsters. What the shopkeeper didn't account for is me having a fucking sword. Get owned. So, that's everything over that way. Let's move back downwards. Only a few more battles to go. And then we've completed this strange dimension. Purposefully going for the wrong answers. Over here, we have the yellow Pikmin. The yellow Pikmin have been around since the very first Pikmin game, in which they were teamed up with the red and blue Pikmin. Yellows have a few interesting attributes. They're completely immune to electricity or energy, allowing you to take them through electric fields without them dying. And one really, really minor detail that actually does translate into Smash is that they are lighter than the red and blue Pikmins also. So when you throw them, they can go further and higher and faster, which does actually, you know, come into account with Olimar and Alf's side B. The amount of details with all the individual Pikmin and how they all operate all do make it into Smash, and that is incredibly impressive in and of itself. And it's something most players will never notice because nobody fucking plays Olimar. Nobody plays him. He's such a good character, no one bothers. So, yeah. Here's a purple Pikmin. Purple Pikmin from Pikmin 2 are the biggest, chunkiest, most powerful Pikmin today. When an Olimar and an Alf in this game wield a purple Pikmin, they're essentially as strong as fucking Ganondorf is. Especially when it's fully flowered and at its maximum power. So yeah, if you're gonna take anything away from this battle, you need to respect the chonk. Respect that chonk. Do not take them lightly if you end up facing off against them. So yeah. Anyway, this battle's not particularly difficult with that in mind because, yeah, lots of explosives are spawning in to represent how explosively strong the purple Pikmin are. And, yeah, the stage we're battling on also, you know, is a fucking chaotic-ass stage, so this fight will generally be over pretty goddamn quickly when you throw yourself into it. So that is the strange dimension completed in its entirety, so let's do some shopping and some fusing to finish up. Over here in Funky Shack, we have the Warp Star, which Kirby can use to flit around and skip levels and fight against aerial bosses. And the Wheelie, who Kirby can team up with in Kirby Superstar, or absorb completely to get the wheel ability. Really, it depends on how merciful you're feeling. Anyway, if we fuse all of the Norian siblings together, that is to say the Conquesting family from Fire Emblem Fates, we get their eldest brother, the ruthless warlord, Xander. Cool guy. Unless you're not on his side, in which case he's a fucking nightmare. Anyways, last of all, if we fuse all of these sweet, innocent, and cute, wonderful star children together, we can fuse them into a mythical Pokemon who can grant wishes. Jirachi.